Fine magazine. We're live and we're going to the protest. We're almost there, so bear with us. There's a bit of a transport strike today. It seems to be working okay, but nonetheless, we are making our way there. And we have to walk a bit, so we're going to be walking, and you'll see the city that's not having a protest, and then just like last time, you'll see when things get exciting. So stick around and let's see how it goes. I'm just going to check all my channels to make sure we're streaming like we're supposed to stream and everything's working like it's supposed to work before we get deep into the mix. It got intense last time. This time, I don't know about that. We'll see. But nonetheless, pretty exciting stuff. And perhaps this time would be better if it wasn't so exciting. I don't know. So feel free to chat with us, and I'll try to answer your questions on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook. I'll take a peek every now and then at the chats and let you know what's going on. In the meantime, we were having a discussion about another French political situation, which is about a water protest that's going on at the same time. Because, you know, one protest for revolutionary people like us, one protest at a time is, you know, just getting started. So here's how I am today. Hello, everybody. Here we go. Let's do this. Make sure my camera's clean. Okay. So you were saying, so the protest about the water?
Yeah, so they decided to, I don't know how you call it, inactivate in English.
How you call what?
This natural reserves tank, water tank.
Oh, a reservoir, I think.
Yeah, but even when it's natural?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so. It depends on the context. It's not a spring, is it?
No, the spring is the source.
Source, okay.
Where the water comes out. Before that, it's underground stored in.
Oh yeah, aquifer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this is how we get water. Actually, we wait for this natural tank to get filled by the rain, by just draining water, usually in winter, and it makes some reserve for the hot and the sécheresse time,
Right.
like summer. So some clever people just, instead of, because if everybody is going in that reserve at the same time in the middle of the summer, like everybody at hospital, so people needing for cultures, it's getting tricky, and the level is getting low very fast. So some people say, okay, so let's do another reserve, an artificial one on the surface, taking this in the winter, so storing it in the surface. Then it's really some space to
refill the aquifer.
Yeah. And we have some water on the surface for agriculture. So this is the point of all that, which this has obviously a bunch of side effects which are totally crazy actually.
Like what?
Which destroy because they make the water which was drinkable. Just putting it in the surface in the sun makes a lot of bacteria coming. It's not drinkable anymore, so you can't do anything else than just putting it over fields.
Okay.
Which means that only agriculture can use it, and also it's only for a certain type of agriculture, which is like the business side of the real agriculture.
Okay.
And so it's just like a factory thing. So these people want basically steal a resource from the earth, because it's like for 5 to 7% of the agriculture which could actually use that.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a bunch of people, like small people doing like bio stuff and normal things that they don't want, because they use water to, the main scandal is they use water to make corn.
Oh, right.
Because corn needs a lot of water. So we have we produce a lot of corn here, but we don't eat corn.
Right.
So we're just feeding animals with it or just exporting. So we are just losing the water we have here just for exporting corn, which totally doesn't make sense. But as it's a business for billionaires, you know, it's difficult to find.
Yeah, okay, so that's what people are upset about.
The whole thing about this basin is a symbol of the main capitalism industry of agriculture against like another kind of thing which is more related to the local producing and the clever producing according to the weather condition and to seasons. So it's two models, agriculture models fighting.
Okay, I see.
So, and some people are taking it really seriously because it's actually a big deal. And so that's what this manif was about.
And this was in which city?
In Saint-Soline, it's the middle of nowhere in the field.
Okay.
So the thing is, they started building. So they have a bunch of projects, and half of them were cancelled because they didn't go far enough in the studies.
Sorry, I'm just going to stop and gawk at Kubo Patisserie, one of our favorite patisseries that have really good pastries. They're on our best desserts list. Kubo, Paris. Weird neighborhood, look. Everything's kind of weird right now. Okay, sorry I interrupted you. Okay, so
they are pressured by these big lobbies to do it fast. So they don't really do like proper what we call étude d'impact, which is a study about
impact study.
Yeah, with 10, 15, 20 years of projection of what the thing is going to be, including climate change.
Yeah.
Which is tricky to take into account because you never know.
Yeah, because all bets are off with.
So they already canceled half of them, and some of them started building it under pressure of the big lobby of the big, agricultural exploitation.
Yeah.
The big one. So the one of the thing that were going there on last Saturday is actually a chantier, a work. So the thing is not in service yet. It's just a hole in the, they're starting to get a hole in the field. So this is a state. But they decided to cancel to make the protest not legal. So that's why they send them a bunch of police just to protect actually nothing.
Okay.
That's the main deal. And it was very serious because I don't know if you heard, but there was like 200 people, like wounded people, including really, really serious one. Like some of
200
them
what people?
Wounded people.
Wounded? Oh, from the
protest.
From the
Police too, because the fight was really, really intense, and they figured that they were protecting. They were trying to impeach people to go to just a hole.
Okay.
Which doesn't make sense. So that means that they just like almost kill people just to protest
for a hole
nothing.
in the ground.
Yeah, it's totally it's crazy. It's amazing. So that's a big thing.
As if it's not enough that what we have going on everywhere else. We're on Ruby Shaw, which is what I call Rube, where my bitch at? LOL. Anglophone jokes. So we're almost at Place de la République, which is the origin point of the protest. Obviously it started already, but there's usually so many people that it just starts, and there's still a lot of people everywhere, so we'll see. We're in the I guess this would be the Canal Saint-Martin République area in the 10th arrondissement. No, we crossed over. Now we're in the 11th, right? Is it still the 10th? There's like a border where you're at 4 arrondissements. So which side you're in depends. Today's colder than the other day. It doesn't bode well for my Emily and tear gas outfit, which requires a skirt and for me to take off my coat. I'm pretty warm right now, but yeah, definitely a few degrees colder than last time. Last time we had the benefit of heat on our side. Today it's chilly. Today is chillier than the other day. But I guess when you get in the crowd, it doesn't matter because there's human body energy. So yeah, we're walking down Rue Bichat, or Rue Where My Bitch At, and we're making a right on Rue de Faubourg du Temple. Rue du Faubourg. Say it properly for me, please. Yeah, like French leader. Rue de Faubourg du Temple. And I used to live on the street actually. There's a bunch of kebab shops, and one day, and they hang out their window with their towel, you know, their like kitchen towel around their shoulder. And one day I saw the guy blow his nose on the towel. And ever since then, I can never eat anywhere on that street because I can't remember which place it was. And there's a bunch of similar places. It's pretty funny and pretty gross. This is kind of, this neighborhood is very hipster and chic, but this is kind of the raggedy street of the neighborhood. You know, every neighborhood has its sort of raggedy, not so posh street. But they have, if you like kind of weird clothes, you can get really weird stuff. It's all nylon and cheap, but hey, like budget conscious. Good budget conscious shopping if you like normcore and weird stuff. This is a good street for actually shopping for normcore, weird normcore on the cheap. You know, the kind of thing that the static will drive you crazy. You'll have so much static electricity, you'll be crackling, probably get struck by lightning. Rue du Faubourg du Temple, T-E-M-P-L-E, named after actually the Knights Templar, which used to have, if you keep going straight, their headquarters used to be there until the French monarchy tore it down because they were nervous that, okay, so that's blocked, we're not getting it through there. They were nervous that the Knights Templar had too much money relative to the French monarchy, did I say that right? As they had sort of invented a proto-banking system for the Crusades to help people travel to the Crusades and do totally not woke stuff. And so we're gonna have to slightly avoid Place de la République. We're walking along the Canal Saint-Martin right now to get into the march because obviously they blocked the square because they don't want people to protest. Yeah, well, it's probably the tail end of it. So yeah, so anyway, so Temple was where the Knights Templars used to have their big headquarters, but the French monarchy tore it down because at one point the Knights Templars had more money in their bank than the French monarchy had in the treasury. And that was a little bit threatening for, what was that, Francois Ier? It was one of the early kings before the Louis, I forget which one. Well, no, let's see, it had to be after the Crusades, so it's definitely after Louis the IX. Huh, who was after Louis the IX? Saint-Louis. This is a Frenchman speaking. Okay, yeah, well, whatever. Anyway, in between Louis the IX being canonized as a saint for bringing back the holy relics from the Crusades, one of the Crusades, they decided that the Knights Templar were no good, pas bon, and they burnt them down and kicked them out, and they fled to Switzerland. And that's why Switzerland is kind of known, you know, they have the Swiss Guard at the Vatican. It's the origins of all that. We talk about that on tour. It's kind of a wild story that the French monarchy getting threatened about how much money the Knights Templars had led to the founding of Switzerland. Why don't we cross the street? I bet it looks better over there. No, right here. No, I mean, I just want to be on the side of the street. This is ugly. I want to be on the side of the street with the park.
We're going to turn left.
Oh, we're turning left?
Yeah, we're going to reach Voltaire.
Ah, right. Okay. I get all turned around when there's an angled street. I'm originally from Chicago, and all except maybe 3 of our streets are a hash of a grid. And so if you start adding angled streets, I'm slightly confused. if you start adding medieval streets like the Marais, it takes me years to figure. It took me years to know how to get around that neighborhood without a map. So yeah, here we are. This is a Boulevard Jules Ferry, and the canal is actually underground here under this park. So it's a man-made canal that was commissioned by Napoleon the First, the big cheese. Oh, is this that wine bar? Remember to come here? Was it? Anyway, start to hear. So we're getting close. We're going to see how long we can hold out. Ooh, I should put a timer on my phone because I have a hard out today, so I can't do streaming for 7 hours today. I have to bounce out a little bit earlier. Put an alarm for 5:15. So we're gonna get some of it, but I can't guarantee you that I'll get tear gassed 5 times like last time. Although this time I'm more prepared because I have 2 gas masks. So the revolution will be televised, everybody. Thanks to Paris magazine, and you know, smash that subscribe button if you want to support us on Patreon because you really like what we do. Thank you, Patreon. So excited. It's for your, and so to be streaming is pretty surreal and cool. Because I thought, oh yeah, I got all this information about Paris. I'm just gonna create a cool website and write it down and print a magazine. I don't know, it'll take me about 2 months. But I have really exacting standards. So it took 2 years, and I would say we're not 100% done, but it's live, you can read it. You can benefit from the information. It's mostly restaurant guides, best croissants in Paris guides, this type of thing. It's not always protests, but just the fact that this is going on. In fact, Cameron, who's my homie, he's going to be streaming tomorrow, and he's going to do a bike ride of the monuments and the Eiffel Tower and Arc de Triomphe. So tomorrow is going to have a different vibe than the last couple streams I've had. Look there. Oh, Matt, look. Do you want to go in there? You want to catch it over there? Okay. So it looks like a big one again. There's a vibe in the streets. It's starting to rain a little bit. Yeah, so normally our stream... Go ahead. Uh-huh.
It's kind of, I would say, the official boulevard of manifestation in Paris.
Yeah.
It used to be, I mean, a bunch of them are going from Republic to Nation for decades. And when I was little, I was living in the boulevard out there.
Oh yeah, that's right. When you were a kid, you lived over there. And you went to school.
I could just look at that by the window.
And see your house. Memories. So, yeah, let's see how many people come out today. They say that it was about 1 million across the country last time, which it was absolutely mind-blowing to be in a crowd of that size. The energy, it was incredible. Seeing the police just go like all Thunderdome on people was kind of, it made people really upset. So you could look at the footage from the last Thursday, the 23rd, when we did this. Everybody was just peaceful and chilling out. I'm not saying that there weren't a few straggler individuals here and there that launch a bottle at the police or something, but the attacks on the people that were just marching, which is totally legal to do. It's a permitted march, it's official, the police know the route, it's been cleared with City Hall in advance. Just, you can find some wild videos of this kind of Braveheart like style attack on people with signs. And what I noticed after that is the crowd, which was really chill and peaceful, got really upset. And you'll see, if you look at our old videos from Thursday, a few times we got diverted into side streets, either by getting tear gassed or just whatever. And the people started to get more and more upset because they have a legal right to protest. And they were being, you know, tear gassed for walking down the street with a sign. And that anger boiled over into later, you know, people just having what they call manif sauvage, wild protests, where they're not part of the official designated route. They're no longer, they're out of control essentially, because you see these people with these vests and it says CGT, the CGT. It's the main labor union here in Paris. It has a unique philosophy, the CGT, because they believe that a labor union should be a branch of government. So it's beyond a labor union, it's a kind of philosophical modern model for governing. So they feel like they should have a vote like the legislature, etc. And they're usually the first ones out anytime the government tries to do something that the working class doesn't like. The CGT are the first ones out there. If you want to support what's called the what is it called? Casse grève, the strike fund, essentially. Oh, and we're in front of the Bataclan Theater from the terrorist attack of 2015. So here we are. Watch out for this bike. I'm gonna switch to my stick, my tripod. Works better in the crowd, otherwise you just see people's backs. Sorry. So here they're collecting for the Casse grève. This supports the strikers who aren't necessarily all getting paid when they're striking. So yeah, you can see it's starting to get, look at this, for sale sign. Casse grève. So you see we're raising money to support the strikers. You can support them on PayPal. And you can smoke, because it's France. Get this bad boy stuck in the stick so I can hold it above the crowd. And now I'll show you video up my nose because I'm vain and that's not a flattering angle. because it makes it look more dramatic and exciting to add a little smoke. So I don't think we're getting tear gas just yet. It's a little early for that. But who knows? Nobody protests like the French. So to all the world, to the US, Britain, Australia, take note. Hats off to Hong Kong, Iran. You guys have the real, let's say, fortitude. We're not really risking very much other than getting tear gas. Just for drama, because we don't see the police around. Do you want to put this on my backpack, Matt? Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, why not? Maybe I should take my sign out too. Maybe I should take my sign out. And then they created a new party, which is a combination of a lot of the left-wing parties, and that's what the flag at the top is. It's a new party, but Jean-Luc Mélenchon did pretty well in the election right before the last one. The thing that really upsets a lot of people is that Macron wasn't elected because people really wanted his policies. He was elected because people didn't want Marine Le Pen, who was a far-right character, let's say descendant of Nazis, who appeared on TV. There's the train again. She appeared on TV with a copy of Mein Kampf by Hitler behind her on the bookshelf. And given her past as her father being an actual Nazi, you know, I don't necessarily believe that it was an intellectual read. So people were avoiding her by voting for, like a lot of people voted for Macron, but they didn't want Macron. It's just they didn't want Le Pen more. So it was the lesser of two really bad choices. And that's why Macron doesn't really have a mandate to do what he wants. And he's extremely unpopular right now. So they're bringing a lot of action today. Sorry. So I have to keep this glove off because I don't need a finger. still live. Sorry, I have to check every few minutes because with this many people on the cell towers, it makes the network very vulnerable. So if we do get disconnected, we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Sometimes we just have to reset our little hotspot and or change the battery, but we're going to be on for a few hours.
Stage de team building et avec un coach le lendemain. C'est génial le coaching, maintenant c'est moi la chef, l'administration, je connais rien.
Pizzaiolo means a pizza maker in Italian. So there's a pizza making school, Gino Toniolo, Scuola Italiana Pizzaioli. Yes, I also am flexing that I speak Italian. That's funny, that must be new, I never saw that before. If our stream is pixelated, I apologize. There's just so many people on the network that even if we have a fancy thing, it just gets a little bit wonky every now and then. the CGT. They probably have an online thing. They had a PayPal thing, but I don't know how to do that. Sorry, I just got a news photographer, so I was posing. So they probably have an online donation system. You just have to look up the CGT Union of France. Probably has validation from the public, and so this is a little bit getting it. Russian type of restaurant. I lost French boyfriend. We'll take you on a tour. I have a huge backpack, so people keep bumping into it. Hey Matt, can you hold this for a second?
On avait deux en fait.
Je crois qu'elle est...
It's raining a little bit, but it's not stopping anybody.
Ça y est, Nico, il pleut, c'est la meilleure raison.
Tuner les riches, and it's a play on tune is like money, so it's like cut the money off of the rich. So that's a clever sign. From Thursday, we stopped to eat lunch, so we got a kind of bird's eye view because we were on the second floor. The police over and over tried to stop the crowd and break it up and neutralize it, and there's simply too many people. The police could not control this. The best they could do at the end was kettle everybody in Place de l'Opéra and try to kind of neutralize the protesters there, but on the march they kept trying to break it up, and there's simply too many people. The numbers said about 1 million people across France, probably several 100,000, maybe 800,000 in Paris. I'd never seen a crowd like that. It was absolutely the only thing I've seen like that was the inauguration of Obama. I was at the Obama inauguration, and that felt like a massive crowd as well, but it feels like a long time ago. I don't remember what it felt like, to be honest. It was too long ago. That's me. So normally our bus stations don't look like this. But this is what happens when you kind of It's not too far from my neighborhood, so I had not as far to walk as the other day. Getting home is going to be interesting because I'll be getting home when... Ooh, what do we got here?
Faire le sacrifice. De quoi?
On écrit non en gros pour que ça soit au niveau du ciel.
Bravo? Okay, so I think it's an anarchist symbol. So when everything clears out, this is what will remain, is their sign on the street. So, Macronopoli. Can you see that sign, like Monopoly? Macron is our president, Macronopoli. Cards of chance, you are dead. Take yourself directly to the cemetery. Don't pass retirement. That's a good one. See that sign? Macronopoli. Yeah, look at it, it's funny. So you have the different property classes. Boulevard des Medef, not sure what it means, is abattoir. Go straight to the grave. The policeman in the corner. And that's a clever sign. I think the signs have gotten a little better. Hopefully my So yeah, so far so good. We're in the chill part. No tear gas yet, but this time we're ready. We're obviously in what's called Haussmannian Paris, which is the part of the city that was reconstructed between 1851 and 1871 when Napoleon III was captured by the Prussians, ending the Second Empire. So when you think of Paris, usually you're thinking of these buildings. A Russian food store. So this government building up here on our left is the mairie of the 11th arrondissement. It's a mini city hall. Each of our 20 arrondissements have their own mini city hall, and this is the one for the 11th. So the one right next to my neighborhood, I live in the 19th. If you want to look at the map of Paris, it's a kind of snail shell, and the 19th and the 11th are right next to each other. So today I don't have to walk to Opera, but we'll see how it is to get back, because it'll be a little more tricky, as I'm going to be cutting the stream at some point, not for a while. I've got some more time, maybe an hour or so, to go pick up my child, and we're gonna have to go way around. But what I did was I stashed my bike by his school, so that I wouldn't have to, because share bikes won't be available. The public bike stations, they close them around here when there's a manif, when there's a protest. They close the bike stations. So I brought my own bike and I left it at his school, so that I can take it back home without needing to find a bike, because we assume that the metro won't be working and we would have to pass under Republic Station I got tear gassed in the train the other day when I wasn't even at a protest. On the map where we are, we're at the corner of Rue Sedan and Boulevard Voltaire. The 11th arrondissement. Rue Sedan actually is a good street for going out. It has a speakeasy that's a pizza restaurant that's pretty decent, and a lot of party spots. This is one of the cool going out neighborhoods. Means fuck off, basically. It means go to take a crap. Go visit it. I have to check every few minutes if we're still connected because with so many people on the network, it's very easy to get knocked off and not notice. So far, the hotspot has been acting like a really good. It's been a total king today, owning it. So far, so good. It looks like we're still live. Yep, looking good. Yeah, with so many people on the cell towers, it sometimes gets a little pixelated, and I noticed last time the connection wasn't that stable. So if you want to check on the map, if you're in Australia or South Korea or Canada and you're watching us, you can check out the bus stop, Voltaire Léon Blum. You can see exactly where we are on the map. See anything like Born? That's our Prime Minister, Elizabeth Born. She's part of the target of all of this. So the threat from the strike is until the retreat, we're going to block everything. Yeah, this other one, Born. Strike, blockage, Macron, dégage, like go away. Take soutien aux grévistes. Basically support the strike, support the strikers. So right over here is the City Hall of the 11th, the mini City Hall of the 11th arrondissement. If you go on ParisToFind.com, we have a guide to every arrondissement and all the neighborhoods within them, because arrondissements are their administrative quarters. They're actually too big to be neighborhoods. They usually have several neighborhoods. So usually what happens in these situations is they close the metro stations. So we're going to see if this one's open. It's probably closed because they don't want, well, who knows? Yeah. You can see the metro is closed. I guess they're nervous that it would spill into the metro and disrupt the service that is already disrupted anyway. So, the City Hall of the 11th, the Marie de la 11e, has put up a sign that says they're supporting the movement. They're in support. That's what that black banner is right there. They're not stupid. Because the Paris City Hall is not part of the Macron government. They're independent. The mairie are the, you would say, sort of like precincts, the local elected officials. Yeah, yeah. not supposed to do that, so it's quite unusual to have this sign. So we're gonna take pictures of it. Some stills from over here. So yeah, the 11e obviously is a pretty left-wing part of the city. Yeah. Oh, we're fine. 5:45. We have to be there at 5:45. So I have an alarm on my phone for 5:15, just so I know in advance. See, like I said, it's the banks that are on lockdown, the insurance, not the agencies but the companies, but these little mom and pop shops are open just fine. They know that they're not going to be attacked, because the point isn't to attack whatever moves around you. The point is to attack the symbols of what the revolutionaries would see as their repression. So attack the banks, attack anything that would have a lobbyist, basically. So it's highly orchestrated. It's not wanton. Well, there's no violence now, but it's not wanton violence. I suspect that because this is organized by the unions, by a grouping of the unions. It's called intersyndical, meaning all the unions together are organizing it. And I have a feeling that they asked people to tamp down on setting garbage cans on fire, because it gave the police an excuse to kind of bring a little bit of aggression last time. Well, bring a lot of aggression. This time I haven't seen any garbage cans on fire, so. The thing about these kind of protests is that they're organized. There are organizers, there's somebody for the president's team to negotiate with. It's not just like the Gilets jaunes, if you remember the yellow vests from a couple of years ago, that was a leaderless protest, and it's kind of dangerous because there's nobody to say what do you want and how can we get this to stop. Lost French boyfriend again.
Là où j'ai pris la photo de toi que Amélie on a pris le chocolat. Là où vous avez fait les
kind of like a picnic, but not really a picnic. You would say it's like a bar, essentially. It's an open air bar in the summer that has picnic tables where you kind of get your own cups of beer and plastic cups. Yeah, it's a casual picnic area type of bar. It's really popular in vacation areas in France, and they have a few sort of fake ones in Paris because it's kind of a countryside thing. So here we have another good sign. Dégage Macron Monarch. Basically get lost Macron, and they rearranged the letters in Macron's name to spell monarch.
Mais dis-le en applaudissant ce genre, tu vois. Majesty. C'est de mieux en mieux.
this time the trash can has not really been set on fire, so it's progress. To be honest, I'm glad that fewer things are on fire this time because I didn't appreciate breathing that, but you can't make an omelet without having a few eggs broken, or so it goes. Yeah, I do a slow circle. See, like my camera work? Oh, let's see what that is. So that's a bank over there, Casa Farm. It says Bernard Arnault, on vient de chercher chez toi. So Bernard Arnault is one of the billionaires that inherited France.
I think he's one of the richest in the world.
Yeah,
He's close to Elon Musk or something.
Is that the one that's married to Salma Hayek? No, who has the new museum?
I know, Pinot.
Pinot. I confuse Pinot and Arnault. So, yeah. So Bernard Arnault is one of the richest men in the world, and that sign over there says Bernard Arnault, we're coming for you at home, at your home. So, and you notice how they boarded up the bank. We'll see how the McDonald's, the McDonald's is totally boarded up too because it's a multinational. Dystopie is not utopie. That's that logo is a graffiti, a pretty well-known graffiti artist that does a kind of invader style attachment to buildings. I'll see if I can find one along the way to show you, because there's a lot of them, almost as many as invaders. See, look, the grocery store is fine. Not that it's not a big company. It's actually owned by our biggest grocery chain. They bought it out. It was like the equivalent of Whole Foods if you're an American, Naturalia. But look, compare the grocery store and the little cafe to the McDonald's and how they have it locked down. And there is our first set of stormtroopers, and it looks like they're kind of staged up. There's not a lot of them though, so usually a lot of them is a bad sign, but we know where they're going to come from. If they wanted to kettle us in this square, it could happen. We could get blocked in this square if they did have. There's not enough of them right now staged up to do it, so. This is one of my favorite slogans from this protest, with a little bit of context, and we've seen it around a bit. If you give us 64, we're going to give you May 68. And what that means is that in May 1968, France had its biggest ever protests that really kicked a lot of asses and took a lot of names. So it's a threat that, do you want us to keep getting bigger than over 1 million people? Well, try us. lifting up her skirt and her ass is Macron's face. Pink one.
Non, mais si on trouve, on parlera.
We've got an effigy of Macron as a monarch. Regions. Matt, I'm going to get some pictures of this. This is Greenpeace. And boisson fresh, cold drinks. So,
cher. Le jour où le vote se réveille, vous savez prendre cher. On a le sentiment qu'à de voter, c'est choisir par quel gros jour tout se faire en Cuba. Républicain ou PS, rangez vos promesses dans vos sacs Hermès. Vous n'avez jamais connu la précarité. Vous vivez à l'écart de nos réalités. La roue le pense, je le mets en musique. Et pour ceux qui l'ignorent encore, je le rends public. Je ne soutiens aucun parti, je marche plus dans vos combines. Vos programmes électoraux ne sont que des comptines. On prend les mêmes et on recommence. Les mêmes promesses, les mêmes mensonges, les mêmes tacs dans la caisse, les mêmes plonges, les mêmes sons dans la presse.
So this is not what I would call the stormtroopers. These are peaceful protesters. But when things hit the fan, one thing I saw last time when I was on the second level and had some more perspective is that it was explained to me, sorry, I'm posing for a picture, that the unions have internal security services, and so if the police attacked the crowd, which you can see are people chilling, I haven't even seen a trash can on fire, I haven't seen anything thrown, I haven't even seen a window broken. What happens is the internal security services of the unions kind of suit up in order to confront the police. So if we see those guys, it's going to be a lot of tough-looking people with very serious helmets on, eye masks, gas masks, and they're ready to go head-to-head. And that's not what you see normally in the crowd mingling, but that's what you'll see. There's a contingent of them, and I haven't seen them yet. I don't know how they activate, I don't know exactly how they work. I just know last time when we saw the Braveheart attacks by the police, then all of a sudden we saw those guys too. What do you think? Time-wise, yeah. And there is smoke ahead, and I don't know if it's tear gas. Non, j'arrive pas à tenir les coups. So. communiste française.
D'ailleurs, on a un peu trop, on a fait l'extrême droite.
Yeah. I want to do one photo with my cameraman. We can get
Ouais, et puis en vrai, déjà c'est pas de
vegan bakery right there. Talking about the vegan bakery. I've stopped there a couple times, it's good. There's a few vegan bakeries now in Paris. A few gluten-free ones, a few vegan ones. Matt, should we go through there? Do you think? So another day where I didn't really eat in the morning because I was too busy fiddling with all my equipment and getting ready. And now I'm starving, and of course another good food neighborhood. See? A real estate agency. People are pretty pissed about real estate right now too. So a hotel, people are just not worried over there. This looks like it's normally closed. So you'll notice the mom and pop shops pretty much don't bother closing up. This one went way differently than the one the other day. Do you want to put my signs in the backpack so you don't have to carry them? Sorry. So yeah, this one went a lot differently than the one the other day where we got tear gassed 5 times by the cops and witnessed the Braveheart reenactments against the peaceful protesters. It didn't happen today, but again, we're still early and we're not at the end of the route. But today I am picking up my child from school, so I'm not staying until the fiery end like last time. Nor am I stopping for a cocktail, a bracing cocktail at the end. C'est quoi? Oh, welcome to Paris, where the whole street is your toilet. No, it is Paris. We went to Rome and I never spelled pissed once. Here it's, there's another one.
Does it happen in normal times?
No, it happens in normal times because, yeah, if you're a man, like the whole street basically is your toilet. It's disgusting. So we're walking along the route. That might be some tear gas. Do you feel it? No, but that smoke doesn't get in your nose like this. This feels like tear gas. Does not feel good. No, it's hitting my nose and throat. That smoke up ahead I think is tear gas. Okay, so tonight I'll classify. It looks like we haven't lost connection today, which last time we picked up and lost connection, 25 times. Again, really, guys? So we're just taking a detour. And this time we didn't get blocked. Last time the police had all the little side streets blocked. So if you came off of the main route, either because you were tear gassed or because you were just tired, you were blocked by the police in some cases, so they were definitely trying to break up the strike. So my guess is that the unions had a talk with the police administration and said, if you keep doing that to us, we're going to make things worse. Because I don't feel like we're being mistreated by the police so far, the way we were last time. But again, it's still early. Street is this? I forget the name of it. It's got a lot of cute little stores on it. I always mean to spend more time here, but I just never end up here for some reason. Was it the one by an old lady?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could enter it and just, it was 3 spots, like you can stand at the bar, no sitting.
Where? Which the one that says Alloué?
This one, or...
I read about that.
Oh, maybe it's on the... I think it's this one.
I know Pili Pili is pretty small. I don't know if it's the...
It's 10 times smaller than
Yeah,
Pili
yeah.
Pili.
I don't know if this is the same. If it's now the smallest bar because this one closed. So yeah, apparently there was a pocket bar here run by an adorable elderly lady, but she packed it in during COVID and didn't reopen. Like 25% of the businesses, it seems. Lots of stuff closed. But the government supported people pretty well here, actually, with loans and stimulus checks. And so a lot of people started their dream businesses. So now you have all these crazy, this kind of renaissance of business and creativity in Paris. Here's a vinyl store. Music Fear Satan. Okay, it's a good name for a vinyl store. We're on Rue Richard Lenoir. Oh, okay. I never walk around over here. I'm usually on my bike very fast, zipping in and out of this area. I think this is like the Salvation... Oh yeah, this building here, which is quite pretty. This is the Salvation Army here in Paris. I think it's a women's shelter, this one. I'm not sure. We'll see. I can't remember. So, here's... Be careful of crazy drivers. So the drivers tend to get a little crazy when there's a protest because they're boxed in and it's really hard to drive and get around. So, okay, the ambulance. So there's the protest. These are the people that are part of the protest that are maybe taking a break or going around because sometimes things get too crowded on the route and you can't move. So you just take a side street. Today we're not being forced by the police, so this is an improvement. The police were very quiet today. But again, we're not at the end, and these things always end a certain way. It pretty much never ends without a confrontation here in Paris. It's just how revolutions go. We didn't get this nice way of life by asking nicely. Motorcycle police. but they're not in riot gear. But yeah, so this is a pretty interesting building for Paris because it's very atypical architecture. This is the Salvation Army of Paris headquarters. You get some details on there. Terracotta tiles, stone, and they have a daycare. Oh, pardon, excusez-moi. I have this helmet on my back and it makes me wide. I was just thinking that we have time for a coffee at Nomad, but they close at 5. So I was thinking we had time for a coffee at Nomad, but they close at 5. Maybe we can get a coffee over at Pure Cafe. Oh no, it's right there. So what time is it? We have 25. We have 25 minutes. You don't think we'll make it? Well, there's a place across the street. Yeah. There's a place across the street. We'll go there.
Excusez-moi, vous savez, est-ce qu'il y a des toilettes publiques dans les bars?
That's funny. The guy was just asking the cops, excuse me, do you know where the public toilet is? And they said, in the bar. Yeah, Starbucks bar. So we have a guide to coffee. Like, first of all, we have a list of best coffees in Paris, which we had a slight discussion about this morning because, and we're not going to name names and give them publicity, but a coffee shop that we're literally in the neighborhood of right now has really good coffee, but they're the biggest assholes that you will ever encounter in any kind of customer service here in Paris. We're clearly in a staging area, so better to get behind this before there's another Braveheart scene. So yeah, so this coffee shop has some of the most amazing coffee and hot chocolate that I've ever had, and therefore it's on our list of best coffee shops in Paris. It's super pretentious, but we wrote that hey, it's pretentious and expensive as long as you're prepared for that. But what happened is Flavia, who is kind of the, what does she do? A lot of things. Managing editor, she writes some stuff and curates some stuff, and she's also one of the graphic designers that's working on the team. So kind of like a co-art director with Caho. And she went in there the other day to get coffee, and they were so absolutely rude to her that she went in the site without consulting with any of us and deleted them from some of the lists and told me about it. And I said, okay, well, yeah, I get it. I agreed that we're going to delete them from our list because we don't want to put people in a position where they might be verbally abused in a coffee shop. Like literally the treatment was so outrageous. Yeah, I'm not naming names. The treatment was so outrageous that she was totally right to be outraged. And so we're deleting them from the site slowly. But it's too bad because it was the best iced coffee I ever had in my life. They served it in a wine glass, and I thought, oh, come on, you guys, really? Like, this is the most ridiculous, pretentious thing I've ever seen. But then I tasted it, and I was like, okay, I'll shut up now. It was so good. They had 14 euro hot chocolates, like different regions you can get them from. Last place you want to accidentally have a meeting and have to buy everybody their coffees, 14 euros for a hot chocolate. Anyway, so we had a discussion about it this morning, but our neighborhood spot is called Nomad with an E, and that's where we go, but they're closed. So even if we have time for a coffee now, we're not having a coffee there. But you can see the street when there's no traffic. Imagine a carless world. It's pretty nice. But this is the Federbe neighborhood. I guess you would call this what? Federbe Chahon, I think is how we called it in the magazine. Part of the, we're still in the 11th arrondissement, almost on the 12th. And Flavia wrote up a really great, because she lives in this neighborhood. She lives like right around the corner, so she knows it really well. So she wrote up a lot of things about the neighborhood. So if you take a look at ParisToFind.com, go under neighborhoods, arrondissement, we're in the 11th. Federbe Chahon is the neighborhood we're in now. It's always time for an apéro. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock here. So this neighborhood is, it's not touristy at all, but it has a ton of great shops, restaurants. There's an amazing food street called Rue Paul Bert, B-E-R-T, Rue Paul Bert, like Bert and Ernie. They have a Cyrillignac bakery, patisserie. It's right here, actually. This is your headquarters? Oh, really? This is where you guys go after swimming? Ah, cute. I think I stopped here once. So it's a neighborhood that is completely not touristy, but has, we can go this way, it's probably easier. We'll cut through the side street because I'll pick up my bike. I have it parked over here because I didn't know where it was going. Oh, Terroir d'Avenir, this is their butcher shop. This is a really good chain of, they have butcher shops, they have vegetable shops, and they also have bakeries. We're about to pass by their bakeries. They just reformulated their croissant, and now I think it's among the best. I used to not be a fan of it, but they changed the formula maybe, I don't know, past couple of years. I used to take people there on the best croissant and pastry tour of Paris, and people from Latin America used to really like their croissant. But to me it was kind of bread-like. It was like a sweet bread, like almost like an American version of a croissant, not flaky and layery. But so I stopped going there because it just, not a lot of people liked it. And then recently I had one and I was like, okay, they completely changed it. This is cute. I love the melted candles in the wine bottle thing. What? So my bike is around this corner. The coffee shops are all going to be closed because they close at 5. Yeah, they close at 5. So we'd have to go to like a cafe. So this is Terroir d'Avenir Bakery. And you can see deliciousness happening inside. So now they've reformulated their croissant and I love it. It's so good. It's hard not to eat. Yeah, so this is where we hang out. This is Nomad. And they are closed up for the night, but I'm gonna say hi to my homies. Salut! Ça va? Oui, oui. Oui, c'est live stream. En fait, j'ai dit un petit coucou, mais vous êtes fermé, ça va? Ok, café Nomade, c'est bon. À bientôt. Salut, ça va? Oui, merci. So yeah, I was there this morning. This is our morning coffee shop. So what I'm going to do now is sign out, say goodbye to all of you lovely people. Thank you for joining us, and if you stayed this long, I appreciate that. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube. Hit subscribe so you can keep up to date. Tomorrow Cam is going to be doing a live stream at the Eiffel Tower. He's going to hit the monuments with his bike, not literally, and we're going to do more fun stuff. We don't always show strikes and revolutions. That's just a temporary thing, I hope. We normally take you to see the best croissants in Paris, the best pastries. We do fun stuff and we see cool things. In this case, you're seeing the live French Revolution of 2023. So I hope you enjoyed it, or maybe learned something.